Welcome back to the second video presentation for Philosophy 264 Critical Thinking. This is the first chapter in Peter Kreeft's Socratic logic, the first act of the mind, understanding. A computer cannot question its own programming unless programmed to do so. Animals do not question their programming either. The most basic questions that human beings, however, can ask is, what is it? And why is it? The ability to raise these two questions is what distinguishes the human being from a computer or an animal. All understanding produces a concept. A concept is that by which we grasp or understand what a thing is. We do not understand concepts. We understand reality by means of concepts. Concepts have at least 5 characteristics. Concepts are spiritual, that is, immaterial or non-material. My idea or concept of a tree is not a material or physical thing, but that by which I grasp a material or physical tree. Concepts are abstract, that is, they take the most basic features from a thing and disregard the other features that are not so basic, and therefore seize upon the essence of what a thing is. Concepts are universal, that is, they apply to a whole bunch of different individuals. So the concept tree is universal in that it applies to a whole bunch of different individual trees, whether birch, oak, pine, or whatever. Relations between concepts are necessary. So in the concept of a triangle, the fact that all the angles add up to 180 degrees is a necessary product of that concept. And concepts are unchanging. A concept always is what it is. The concept of a tree is what it is always, even though individual trees can come and go and change. A concept is, however, different from a term. A concept exists only privately or subjectively in the individual mind. A term, however, is the public expression of a concept. A term is expressed by a word, but it is not the same as a word. The same term may be expressed by many different words, either in a definition or the same term may have different words in different languages. So, for example, the word sheep or the term sheep may be expressed with different words, such as sheep in English or mouton in French or any other language. A term is the most simple and basic unit of meaning. A term is simply any word or group of words that denotes a unit of thought. The problem of universals is basically this. Do our terms refer to real things? Do universals such as beautiful, human, or cat refer to anything real outside the mind? In the history of philosophy, there were 3 proposed solutions. One was realism. Universal terms exist as real universals outside the mind. So my concept tree is a real thing, an immaterial thing. This was what Plato taught. Nominalism is the second option. Only individual things exist. Universal terms are simply creations of language, which human beings use to talk about things. And the third is moderate realism. Universal terms exist as universal only in the mind, but they do refer to something real in things that individuals of a certain kind all share. And the third, moderate realism, is the one that I think is, and many philosophers think, is the most reasonable and defensible position. And of course, if you have any questions about why, we can talk about that either at the video conference or in the discussion board. The extension and comprehension of terms. The extension of a term refers to all the real things the term refers to. For example, all the books in my library. The comprehension of a term refers to the meaning of the term. That is, for example, a book is a bound written document. Other terms used to express this relationship are intension versus extension, connotation versus denotation, reference versus meaning. Thus, the meaning of a unicorn is a horse bearing or a goat bearing one horn, and yet its reference is empty or zero, since unicorns do not exist. There is a principle of inverse relation between extension and comprehension. The more precise the comprehension, the more it increases, the more the extension decreases. For example, if I understand drink by the term beer, my comprehension of drink increases, but the extension of drink decreases, and that I exclude wine, cider, lemonade, etc. from the extension. Why is this principle important? Because a lot of bad reasoning is a result of confusing extension with comprehension. For example, smoking causes lung cancer is the comprehension of that proposition. My Uncle Fred smoked for 30 years and never got lung cancer is the extension. So just because particular examples do not fulfill the comprehension doesn't mean that the comprehension is wrong. Terms can be either unambiguous or ambiguous, clear or unclear, exact or vague, univocal, equivocal, or analogical. This, as I mentioned, is an important distinction. Univocal is two terms are univocal when one term has the same meaning. So an alligator is an animal, a bird is an animal. Animal in these two propositions have the exact same meaning. Equivocal is when one term has two or more utterly different meanings. So I put my money in the bank, the duck is sitting on the bank. Right? Bank here has two completely different meanings. Analogical, one term having two or more related but different meanings. So, for example, this meal is healthy, right? But John is a very healthy, vigorous old man or elderly man. Here, healthy has two related but different meanings. Terms could also be literal or metaphorical, positive or negative, simple or complex, categorigmatic or syncategorigmatic, universal, particular, or singular. And this, number 9, I want to pause just to explain. A universal refers to all of a certain class. All planes have wings. Particular, some planes have delta wings. Or singular. This particular plane, this 747, is equipped with the latest technology, and so forth. Or all LaSalle students are good students. Some, which is particular, some LaSalle students are good students. Or singular, Mary is a LaSalle student or is a good student. Terms could be collective or divisive, absolute or relative, concrete or abstract. The predicables. To predicate is to affirm or deny something of a subject. So, for example, Socrates is ugly. Socrates is the subject. Ugly is the predicate. And in this, we're saying something about the subject, Socrates. There are 5 ways in which we can predicate something of a subject. As species, this states the whole essence of the subject. Fido is a dog. And so this refers to what Fido is. As genus, this states the general or generic or common aspect of the essence of a subject. Fido is an animal. So animal refers to the large genus of which dog is a species. As specific difference, this states the specific or differentiating or proper aspect of the essence of the subject. A triangle is a 3-sided plane figure. So the specific difference is 3-sided, because this is what distinguishes triangles from other plane figures. As property, this states not the essence of the thing itself, but what flows from the essence, is caused by the essence and therefore always present in the subject, at least potentially. So a property of a triangle is that a triangle is a figure whose interior angles add up to 180 degrees. This, of course, always flows from the fact that the triangle is a 3-sided plane figure. Or another example is that human beings have a sense of humor. A sense of humor flows from the fact that human beings are rational animals, but nevertheless, it is not part of the essence of the human being to have a sense of humor, but it flows from our rationality that we are able to make jokes and laugh at absurd situations. And finally, a predicate could be an accident. This states any characteristic of the subject that is not essential. So Socrates is ugly, right, is an accident. So is Socrates is Greek. Right? That is also an accident, since it is not essential to human beings to be either ugly or Greeks. This ends our lecture. Thank you.